You guys, welcome back to another video. And Loki, I was just trying to vibe for this intro, and then I see this little comment that someone posted on the recent video for the last one. Even though you sound like a jinn, don't worry, we love you. If you guys don't know what a jinn is, it's pretty much like a supernatural being within Islam. And there are like good jinns and bad jinns, but like a lot of the time it is like a negative type of like feel about them, because like these types of like spiritual beings can like possess you in it. Like, I mean, it sounds crazy in it, but for those who know, you guys know what I mean in it. Oh my days, that's just crazy. I never thought I'd be compared to a jinn, but I guess that is something new. But anyways, low key, let's just get into this video. I ain't trying to yap too much. But yeah, pretty much team wise, it's the exact same as traits. The only thing we are changing is we're taking out Yamamoto and putting Shanks in. The reason for this is because, as you guys do know, Shanks applies Rupture, and no one else is applying Rupture in this team, so we do need it. So, team-wise and Memoria-wise, let me just get into them. So, you go Ichigo with Ichigo's Memoria, Madara with Madara's Memoria, Jiraiya with his own Memoria, then Kaido's Memoria on Uma, Naruto's Memoria on himself, and then Beerus's Memoria on Shanks. The reason for this, if you guys don't know what it does, pretty much when an active is on cooldown, it buffs his damage by 40%, so since he has no overheads, it's pretty nice to have. So yeah, it's just 40% buff flat-wise, like flat buff, because he's gonna be popping his active and then it's gonna be on cooldown for 30 seconds, so it's gonna keep doing that non-stop. So pretty much it does 40% damage for free. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the team. Let's just get into the run. This is a very initial strat. I'll work on like improving it like later on, like doing regen farming and all that other stuff. But yeah, for now, I would just like leave it as this. Okay, I accidentally clicked off, mate. Okay, so I did mention a few things in terms of like improvements. What I will mention is one thing I did not do was wave skipping. If you guys do know, in every tournament you can wave skip or you can kill the enemies from waves 1 to 4 as soon as they spawn, which allows you to, of course, start the next wave quicker. So in this run you can do it from waves 2 to 4, I'm pretty sure, which I did not do because there was one run I did just because I wanted to save time. So I did one early run. I'll do a better run maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday, utilizing wave skipping and regen farming. But pretty much all you have to do for this run, because all you have to do is just get your units upgraded, make sure you didn't use spam, and you can pretty much AFK until like wave 40, because it does not get hard at all until wave 40, because wave 40 boss is the one that actually causes you some issues. And yeah, that's all I'm really doing. I'm just making sure that I get the upgrades in, utilizing Jiraiya to get on all our Naruto's for free and all our Jiraiya's for free. And what's nice is going to be slowing and nullifying them, which is very nice. It is sad that the 4 demons, the very fat ones, have solidified. And what solidified does is makes it so any mechanic that affects their damage reduction does not work. So yeah, nullify is not really working on these guys. So it means they're pretty much at their full damage reduction, and it's kind of frustrating. And then what's nice about Shanks though for this is because he's gonna be rupturing them, which is very nice. As you can see right now, we're not gonna really apply rupture to them. And I did mention that a few things I'm gonna improve for the next run. In that next run, I'm gonna be, of course, wave skipping and regen farming. Those are the two things that make a big difference. Because as you saw, this one is a 44 billion run. I think final strike could be like around 60 billion damage, which is a big jump. 16 billion damage jump is crazy. And managing ninjutsu better, because towards the end you can see, well, I'm saying you can see, but you will see that there's a lot of enemies at the back, like at the front right here, and as long as you do as much damage as you can to them, you get more damage. So pretty much what you want to be utilizing is Madara's mechanic. So when you ninjutsu onto Madara, he spawns another unit with him. So like he will spawn the Naruto that you did spawn in. So you got the Naruto from there. you get the Madara and you get another unit. So if you sell a Jiraiya, you can pretty much have 3 units being placed down at once. And what Jiraiya does is when he gets spawned in via ninjutsu, he does a full AoE attack, so it's a lot of extra damage and it does help like dealing with these guys. So which I'll do in the final strat, which I did not do in this one. I just wanted to add it in, so if you guys wanna like do it as well, which if you guys did understand what I'm talking about, then it does help you guys. But yeah, you can see the first like 35 waves is just pure AFK. All you really have to do is your all you really have to do is your Uma stats, and I think wave 30 boss is a Makima with overshield, so I mean she already has overshield, but a Makima who's around like 120 million total HP, so it is quite annoying, but it's not too bad. The bosses afterwards cause you more issues, so yeah. You can pretty much AFK for the most part, as long as you're doing your Uma stats, and you have all your units maxed out. I won't really speak for this part because there's not much I need to say. I'll only showcase it. I only speak when I need to like talk about like a specific placement. And yeah, as you can see at this point, I'm just doing my optimal placements. So what I'm going to be doing is having one Jiraiya at the front, one Jiraiya at that little corner past the yellow car, and set him to closest. That way he can of course hit like a good chunk of enemies utilizing his AoE because he's a cone AoE unit. So you got the Jiraiya at the front, slowing the enemies as much as possible. Then you got the Jiraiya slightly behind him, of course going to be hitting a lot more enemies. And the final Jiraiya, which will be placed further back, that's the Jiraiya that you want to like use for the ninjutsu. So as long as you keep him sold, you can ninjutsu your Naruto onto Madara and then he'll get spawned in and do a full AoE slow plus extra damage. That's the one thing that I did miss out, and it does help a lot. So you guys could also do that if you wanted to. But yeah, in this run, I pretty much just place him at the back, like further away, so he's not really causing much, not really doing much. He's just there just to slow any leaks. And yeah, here as you saw, I do place my shanks very early. You guys can do it way later. I'd recommend placing your shanks around like wave 35ish. As long as you can, or just place him for the wave 30 boss, so you can at least get rupture on the boss early on. And then of course you can sell him and place him later on around like wave 40. So you're at least getting as much regen from the enemies from wave 0 to 40. And you can leave Shanks' ability on auto. As you guys do know, it gives him 40% damage because of the Mamori we have on him. And also, he's just gonna be, I guess, coinciding with Madara stun, because as you do know, Madara stuns enemies with slumber. So as long as they're getting stunned, he can extend that stun pretty much. Because he's bypassing lockout and he does like 4-second extra stun. And yeah, at this point I'm using that spare Naruto, or I mean the 3 Narutos I have, or whichever one, like 2 Narutos. I'm just using the Narutos to pretty much move a maxed unit to the right. So you see I ninjutsu onto the Narutos consistently, just so I can have that that unit there to have a Jiraiya ninjutsu onto, because I don't really want to max Jiraiya by himself. So I don't constantly move the units so I can max them. I guess what you also could do is, if you don't want to go full regen, like no shanks up, you can have your shanks down and just set him to first, so he's just hitting the first enemy. Of course, at times he will hit the other enemies because he has a large AoE, since he is a half AoE unit, but like at times like this, yeah, where there's a lot of like enemies at the front, he would just generally be hitting only the front enemies, meaning that eventually, only after when he does his ability, only then will he really rupture those enemies at the back. So you can still get a bit of regen onto them. So yeah, from here, all I'm really doing is my stats and just non-stop utilizing my Naruto's swings. And I did see someone in the last video say, I saw a comment saying, why don't you use shift locked for your Naruto active or your Naruto swings? The reason is I can turn shift locked on. I have it on right now, but it don't work. I click my control key, both my shift keys, it just does not work. So yeah, I really just can't use it. It's just the same thing as that Odyssey map issue. There's nothing I can do about it. And yeah, one thing you want to be doing this whole time with your Naruto Madara is make sure that you know which Naruto you ninjutsu onto. This way you can keep using the ninjutsu every like 10 seconds so you can utilize the slumber stun. And yeah, as you can see, I kind of messed up there, but you can see what I mean. You just keep utilizing that slumber stun as long as you know which one is the right one. And yeah, killing this boss off is not really too hard. What I'm going to be utilizing is that same Naruto. And ninjutsuing onto the Madara, and of course just killing him off like this. Killing her off like this. And yeah, making sure I do my movement stats at the same time. But yeah, realistically, you should kill this boss way earlier, as long as you do things better than me. But even then, the enemies are so weak that... Well, not really so weak, but Naruto does so much damage to the point where it just does not matter. So yeah, at this point, I recognize which Naruto I am using, so I'm going to be constantly stunning with the same Naruto. You'll see what I mean. And it's going to be a thing that you do it every 10 seconds, and that way you can pretty much just get a free stun. So yeah, from here on out, I'm going to be using the same Naruto all the time for the slumber stun. And yeah, as you guys can see, I'm just reloading the same thing every 10 seconds just to make sure that I get that stun in from slumber. Because Jiraiya's SPA is 8 seconds, so it's not like he's always slowing. And that's why I was talking about, you see that Jiraiya that's on the very back? If you sell him also, you can pretty much have a full AoE slow as well. Just to be consistent as well with the slow. But yeah, this boss is only frustrating because of how fast he is. You'll see when he does get ahead of all the enemies. Once the slow is not on him, you'll see how fast he is. You see how fast he is now. That's why you utilize the slumber stun just to get that free stun on him. And here I'm going to be selling the Jiraiya just to make sure I get the slow on the boss. So selling him and then placing Jiraiya just to slow him. And that's all you really have to do, pretty much. And yeah, once my Naruto ability does like the transformation wears off, I can easily use the transformation here as well. Make sure you click the ability on a Naruto that it does not have the clone symbol on it. You can see the little clone like message. As long as they don't have that, you're fine. But yeah, once you kill him, you can pretty much put your Jiraiya back, slow the enemies, and yeah, you should be fine. And you just go back to doing what you were doing before. And yeah, pretty much what you have to do at this point is just survive as long as possible before you Ichigo pull. Ichigo is just there for your safety net. As long as you can survive and only pull when you really have to, like because of the boss, that's when you're fine. If you have to pull the enemies, then your run is just chopped. You can see I'm just dealing with these enemies slowly, just utilizing the ninjutsu from these guys, and that's all that matters. And yeah, what I do here is just make sure I get my Madara at the back, just to make things a bit easier, so I can constantly slumber instead of like moving to the front and moving to the back. Yeah, and I set my Jiraiya to strongest at that point. And you're just utilizing that, it's just pretty easy to get the stun off and deal with these enemies. And you don't have to worry about the boss spawning. If you want to make sure you can like turn off your Shanks ability and utilize it as soon as the boss spawns. Or a bit after the boss spawns. So get in your slumber stun and then you put in the Shanks stun afterwards. And you at this point this is where you use the Shanks stun, but yeah, it's fine pretty much. Yeah, I'll turn the ability off at this point. After the boss has been stunned once by Shanks, you can turn the ability off and save it for when the boss does get pulled back. But yeah, pretty much all you have to really do is just kill these guys off. As long as you kill them off, you're fine. And yeah, the boss is fast approaching. So yeah, you're gonna be slowing these enemies now. You could slow the boss as well, but doesn't really matter because as you can see, you're gonna have to deal with these elites as well. And I love when my Madara just disappears. And you just keep slowing these enemies. Slow these enemies and slow the boss. And this is the issue. This is why I hate utilizing this ninjutsu stuff. You have to keep going back and forth. As long as you're ready for your... As you can, I couldn't find my Jiraiya. I don't know where he was placed. But you got placed next to that Madara, and that's the issue. So you just use all 3 stocks to pull back. And ideally you want to sell all the units back here. My brain turned off and I didn't sell them all. You want to sell, like, I don't know what I was doing there. I should have sold those all, sold all those units and moved to the front. But yeah, I was able to do that eventually, and yeah, just dealing with these guys is pretty much very easy at this point. So I sell my Madara, place him without ninjutsu, max him out. And yeah, just sell the Naruto that is at the back. That's ideally what you want to do. You want to sell all your units that are at the back, which is what I did not do in this run. So I probably lost out on like 1 billion or 2 billion damage, because there are a lot of enemies at this point around this area. And this is the last ninjutsu that I do onto the Madara, and I just use the nuke on the final like 1 second. And that's pretty much it for the strat. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.